World of Con, A Natural History of Skull Island. Let's see. I actually do. After like rewatching the extended version of Peter Jackson's King Kong, I have one thing to say about the Skull Island. Is that the Millennium Era Skull Island, which is the Peter Jackson's King Kong, is much scarier than the MonsterVerse version. Because the Skull Island in Peter Jackson's world is has more horrors, plus things that won't technically be. I mean, that is a beautiful looking picture, huh? To be honest, I wish that there was a place that is known as the Millennium Era Skull Island. I mean, there's uplands, coastal, jungle, pits and chasms, the waterways, and the lowlands, and a wall. We're going to build that wall. And it's gonna be here. To be honest, this would be a good place for. It would be a good place for me to explore. Give me that. Put it right there, and that. To be honest, it's a broken land. I think Skull Island used to be like a massive location, but over times of rising sea levels have made it go much shorter. So it'd be like, I'm gonna think about it, the mystery of the Lowlands. I mean, it would be a good place to be, huh? I mean, this place is filled with nightmarish creatures. Something that could be a good place. Except for we also got some crustaceans of the coast. We got a Osteodomus, we got an Osteodomus, we got a Levoduscus, we got a Scudocarus. Scudocarus is the lobster, and another. And we got Cune Predator. Or like a giant creature. But then we also got home to the Tartarosaurus. Yes, it mostly like resembles what you get when you make when you cross a Postosuchus with the dinosaur crap. Or even a Sarcosuchus with the normal dinosaur. I mean, Skull Island's fauna is much, and the Millennium area is much more better than what we see in the. I mean, MonsterVerse the fauna of the MonsterVerse, some are infused with plants. I mean, that's a clever anatomy, but to be fair, it would be much better to be in the Millennium era Skull Island. Because not only that, but you get to see some giant dinosaurs that haven't been around for like almost like many years ago. Like we got an Acidactylus, and I think it's that strange Erdosaur, and we got a Nephutosaurus. It's a giant crocodilian creature, and oh no, if he's still a native. Yeah, but the natives on the Millennium era Skull Island are actually very creepy. Especially since they killed 2 people and sacrificed Andaro. Yeah, but Dolly Corn. But presenting Corn with human sacrifices, I would technically be scared. Oh, what's this say? Sacrification was a rite of passage for the men of the island. Pain and ritualism combined to test the metal of a man and forge a new identity for him as set by the gods engraved upon his skin. Oh, and there's that necklace that the natives put around Andaro. And there's the wall. But now we get to the shrinking lowlands. To be honest, this is a habitat in many danger because the lowlands are always rising. But we get to the most giant creature in this planet, Brontosaurus baxteri, classified as the largest sauropod, even bigger than the Titanosaurus and Argentinosaurus, and even bigger than a blue whale. Blue whales reach the size of 100 feet. This one reaches, Brontosaurus baxteri reaches a little size from 80 to 120 feet in length. There's a skeletal structure up us, and a grazing height for all types of dinosaurs. I mean, seriously, it's really much more beautiful. To be honest, it's actually, I don't know if you guys know about the extended version, that the extended version includes all of the deleted scenes, including the one where the people encountered a dinosaur in the very beginning. Lycosaurus innocens, the largest hadrosaur. Well, technically not the largest because Titan was the largest. Well, longest, to be honest, reaching 40 feet in length. While Shantungosaurus can literally reach 50 feet. I mean, this creature is a perfect prey finder for something much, much worse. But now we get to one creature, Ferrazuta Celestis. Technically, this guy reminds me of like a Sinoceratops pachyrhinosaurus Triceratops hybrid, because of that nose of his and the head design. Yeah, more like a Sinoceratops. To be honest, it is a very interesting creature, but I will not go near it because due to the fact that 1, they are aggressive, and 3, those horns. Goodness, the horns. And the head fills with it, and there's some termites. Definite termite species. But now we get some other creatures. We got a Calcareosaurus. Almost looks like an Ankylosaurus carbonemys hybrid. Yeah, a Termitosaurus with the ant swallower. So technically it's a lizard-like anteater. I wonder who's next on our... Oh yes, to the worst one, and possibly my favorite dinosaur in the Millennium Era Skull Island, Vastatosaurus Rex. The biggest and most dangerous member of the Tyrannosaurid family. I mean, to be honest, this thing was the most dangerous creature in this world. I mean, I actually did see a report that in order to make the clay maquette of the character for the movie, it literally took a team of total of 6 months just to make the individual crocodilian-like scaling on one V-Rex clay maquette. But here's the story of the skulls. I guess I'm trying to say is like it went from like this to this because due to the fact that it needed that these T-Rex relatives needed to adapt to Skull Island's environment, and plus make a jaw that with teeth that literally could actually splinter bone. I mean, to be honest, even though I'll be impressed, but I would not be seen near these guys if they were real. That's the one thing about these guys is their size and plus their speed. While T-Rex is like back in the past, they can't really run through the jungle, but that doesn't stop the Vastatosaurus Rex from doing jack crap, because technically those legs are made for running through the dense jungle environment. And boy, howdy do they run. There's his skeletal adaptations. But now we get to the carrion eaters. Which way to start with the Lycosaurus? Also, a relative of the synapse, the Gorgonopsians. Most notably, like creatures like Lyconops or Inostrancevia. Now, carrion invertebrates right here. I don't know why one looks like a house centipede. Let me get some carrion birds. I mean, to be honest, one almost looks like a pteranodon. And we get to the carrion storks. We got the Prophanornis sordicus, Prophanornis spinosus. It's amazing. Now, so I guess. And now we get some carrion parrots. One is called the green carrion parrot. I guess the green carrion parrot's this one. We get the red carrion parrot, which is right here. Then the great carrion parrot, which is I think it's technically this one. Almost looks like a gray parrot without the feathers on its head. Dutton beetle. Now we get some terror birds. Starting off with the terror birds is Xeropteryx, also known as no wings. I don't know why they named that, but what the heck. Now we get to another creature known as the Brutornis. Notice heavy feet. I mean heavy fowl. Technically one terror bird that's actually in the Peter Jackson's King Kong movie, but it was a deleted scene. In order to get that, you need to buy the Peter Jackson's King Kong Extended Edition on Google Movies. Yeah, well, we get the Night Stalker stuff. Bolus Ceridis. When here we thought pterosaurs roam, nope. It has to be giant freaking rodents. The pugbat. PUBG. I would be terrified if I actually encountered those. Now we get the creatures that are mud. Now we get to the swamps and waterways of the Millennium Era Skull Island. I mean, to be honest, the swamps are a very fascinating place. Especially like seeing the Goosebumps Werewolf of Fever Swamp. But to be honest, they are a true nightmare. Because technically swamps are like where witchcraft is. And plus with creatures that are much scarier. One is literally Pteranodon titanus. Also what I call the Pygocentris megalodon. Which is a giant eel-like piranha creature. Literally reaching a size of 50 feet. Making it the biggest sea creature, biggest water creature on the island. Well, it's not as big than the 65 feet long Siren Jaw from the Monsterverse. But my goodness, that's actually terrifying. To be honest, I would be scared to go into water if I see these in real life. I guess everybody would agree with me. I mean, seriously. But we also get some river parasites. We have Estervermis, which is a glutton worm. We got the Profanus. I think it's that one right there. And they're showing us how these things can literally go into the skin. We got a Contra bestiola right there, and the Cadestis. It's just technically look like a crab. And the Pteranodon will literally beach itself and let birds peck out the parasites until it becomes dehydrated. Until almost like dehydrated, it has to go back to the water. Invertebrates at the waters. We got the river sin slug. We got the lake scorpion. We got a boneless asp bug, which is technically that thing. And there's also a large serpent bug, which is that thing. And we got a poisonous deadly lure, which is technically this thing. That's okay, but I think I think for every arachnophobe out there would literally be also the Scorpio piece, or also this one, the grappling hook abdomen scorpion feet, or Netapede harpagadominus. Technically, that I mean, the swamps of Scotland are creepy, and there's also some mosquitoes in this. Yep, mosquitoes don't give a crap. But we also got a Malamagnus, which is technically some kind of giant, almost like I like to call a giant raw Suchian. I think it is. Yeah, it has to be, because technically that's what it almost looks like. And also got Enox, which is also a gluttonous swamp dweller, which almost looks like a Diplocaulus. Technically, but and we got the Erdosaur. The Erdosaurus. That's right there. The Erdosaurus turpis. Also got a Skull Island snapper right there. I feel bad for that bird. And we got this one, turtle helmet, which is that thing. That creature. More, and also some more mouths in the murk, and that giant anglerfish. Sepulchrostium malus, or last, the ugly grave mouth. Technically, related to, like, it looks like a combination between an anglerfish and a viperfish. Papilio is down here. And more fish species. One is called the sunfish. 2 is called the gribbler. 3 is called the roguefish. And all the other species. And there's like one that looks like an alligator gar. Of each fish. These fishes look really cool if they were real. Also, there's the stinkfish, also known as the skunk carp. Then we got the needle mouth, also known as like the alligator gar of the island. And then there's the killer eel. Swamp wings. The swamp wing, also known as Zamopteryx. That's what it looks like. Oh, it's like, hey guys, I guess this is when frogs will fly. Sorry, dude. Waders and wetlands. Huh. Cool. I mean, it look. Then we got some Umbilicosaurus. And this guy looks like a little Spinosaur. No, many people are trying to say it's related to the Venatosaurus species, but it more looks like a Spinosaur. Now we get to the Well, here's a scissor head. Now we get to the steaming jungle. I mean, technically, this place is technically homes to creatures. But to be honest, I would be scared. And look, there's a V-Rex roaring. Because one creature inhabits this. The Avarosaur Celestis, the largest dromaeosaur on the planet, reaching like a size of 16 to 24 feet in length. This is one bad creature you want to come across, especially since what happened to the camera guy in the movie. Well, sucks for him. I mean, to be honest, this thing was the most. I mean, this thing can literally take down a full-grown Brontosaurus backstory in a pack. And here's the hunting, actually. I mean, that is actually clever, actually. Like, 3 come on that side. They chase the prey down here, and more are in the jungle, and they wait it out. But also, there are cousin. But also, Sordicus also has the cousin. There's Banasaurus impavidus, or indomitable hunter lizard. These guys are. But even if they're small size, they are still very dangerous predators. I mean, look at the honey badger. I mean, to be honest, I would not call it a stampede if I would not call up if a pack of venados would literally be chasing a herd of brontos into a stampede. Yeah, they are terrifying, actually. That poor bull. Well, that's what you get. And we get one. Look at that. And look at baby V-Rex, actually. Is that really a. Yeah, it is a baby V-Rex. They actually say that sometimes baby V-Rexes will literally come across venatos when the venatos actually have a kill, and they'll sometimes have confrontations. The growth stage of the V-Rex. Then we get this guy, Photodon Ferris. The one that chased Andero into a log. Kinda mostly looks like what happens if. I don't know, it almost looks like a Simosuke or something. I don't know. But this guy was actually one impressive creature I witnessed in the movie. Since the young will literally live inside water, just catching fish, but they'll be prey to wandering pteranodon. I feel bad for this guy. That's what you get when you have a ambush predator. An Avarosaur. It's an opportunist. This kind of reminds me of what happens if you combine like Suchomimus and a Erdosaur. Then we get a Scimitodon. Also, it's the Shrewd Scimitar Tooth, and that's actually terrifying. The Carver. Carptor. Oh, it's the Flesh Carver Assassin. And it's a prey species, but I would be terrified if I encountered creatures like that. And we got these names, and they're called Carnosaurus, also known as the terrible dog lizard. So technically, they're like dogs. And some of their prey include a Hyliornis, which is another bird. Turber? Huh. Strange. And we got other birds to encounter, like like this one, they called the Noctuperfagus. Penatono, which is technically like a freaking ostrich. Ostrich with the temper of an emu. There we got this big boy, Diabloceratops rufus. Kind of almost look like what happens if a Ceratopsian didn't have its frill and combined the characteristics of an Ankylosaur. Kind of almost looks like a rhino, actually. Yes. Then we get another big sauropod in this, Aspergillus bellator, also known as roughneck warrior. Welcome to the Roughnecks. Technically, it's like it's the second biggest sauropod in the on Skull Island. Not as big as Brontosaurus Rex, but it's big. And, then we got the treetops. Silvaceratops. They're like the gallivanting, they're like antelope and deer. There we got a Nostradamus. Looks like the old version of Iguanodon. Then we got a Skull Island Stegosaur known as Atacurosaurus. That's actually a last Stegosaur. Imagine like an actual Stegosaur in the Cretaceous. Well, actually there is a Stegosaur in the Cretaceous, and that's Avarosaurus that lived in the early Cretaceous in China. Oh, we got the Megapede. Oh gosh, I was like, nope. If I ever see these, I'll be like, nope, the heck out of there. And look at that monkey, the burglar monkey. The Parrosaur novus, also known as the strange burglar. Huh. I like to call it the raccoon monkey. Oh, the wicked. We get the. Oh no! It's a giant ogre face spider. It's got a bird in his cat. But it's not only that, we also get the wicked weaver, a giant orb weaver spider, hunting a feathered devil. That's actually what it's called, the feathered devil. But still, that is a terrifying spider. Not as terrifying as another location in this world we'll get to. Like this is James, because we're going to the more. This is the most. It's like this one reminds me of a house centipede so much. I mean, to be honest, I would be scared if I ever see these creatures in real life. I mean, these things could literally prey on baby dinosaurs. Peculiar flies. Huh. Well, I want to get to the abyssal chasm. Flying rats. Howler. More like a howler monkey. We got Skull Island white bat, which I think that's what it is. Now we get birds of the canopy. Now we get to the nightmarish realm, the abyssal chasm. To be honest, the nightmarish place I would never want to be in. Especially since it's home to like many of the most nightmarish creatures ever. Like the the Carnosomex, which is like the Wetarex. Also known as the terrible Cricker Keen. I'm a Cricket Keen. Why did I say Cricker? The Arachnoclaw, which surprisingly we saw in the Hollow Earth, but my goodness, I would be scared if I see that in real life. And we also got the Plector. Hey look, it's Dr. Zoidberg, but mutated on Skull Island. But we also get the most terrifying creature, Carnecta Sordicus, a writhing giant parasitic worm creature that lived in the murky, muddy waters of the abyssal chasm. That is theorized that these creatures actually lived in the stomachs, that their ancestors lived in the stomachs of the large predatory dinosaurs and feasted on the digestive flesh that their host has left. And it's theorized that this same dinosaur went into the abyssal chasm, and the parasitic cargo literally went into the murky waters, and they adapted and thrived. And a poor Venatosaurus is getting killed. I mean, these were the creepiest of the creeps. The Vulturesaur. Vulturesaurus. Technically, it looks like a naked bird with the wings of a bat. Now we get to the barren uplands, because we're going to that means we're getting to the home of the Keen himself. Because one of them is known as Pterapus mordax obscenus, also known as filthy pungent bat, which is technically a bat-like rodent, flying bat-like rodent. And that's pterosaurs nor birds, or like the top winged creatures of the but rather just a writhing, nasty looking bat-like creature crap. Ugh, I would be creeped out if I see those, especially since they're a large size. Now we get to some other creatures. We get a Barracroc, Ursusuchus bombus, and a Chelitops. Chelitops ceratodorsus. Like mountain goats, or, well, not really mountain goats, more like bison, but these guys, the bifurcatops, are like the mountain goats of the island. We also are seeing it running away from a predator. Then we get some of the predators that live up here, like this one, Arsartis, and we got a Bidensaurus, and we got a Gladion. Technically, it looks like a porcupine, like Synapsid. We got a Malevolusaurus, which is technically like a Dimetrodon. We got a Draco. To the stars, Bowen. To the stars. Now we get to the Keen himself, Megaprimatus Con. To be honest, Con's origins actually he's originating from Asia. Like, mostly one ancestor is probably Gigantopithecus, but there's two versions of that creature, Gigantopithecus giganticus, and the largest one is Gigantopithecus blacki, which is technically the second one is technically that Gigantopithecus blacki is actually the ancestor to Megaprimatus Con. I mean, to be honest, a 25 feet tall gorilla. I'm like, no, Harambe, no. Bringing back the old days. Yeah, there used to be a whole family of these guys, but due to the fact that rapid aging diseases have really caused the downfall, but also the appearance of many predatory creatures on the island that kill them during their infancy. And they have a whole rivalry with the Vastadosaurus Rex, as the both will literally clash in order to keep the population of one down. Whereas the V-Rexes will kill the baby cons, while the adults will literally kill the baby V-Rexes to keep their numbers low. To be honest, Con was technically on his last legs, and due to the fact that no creature would ever, and he had to see his eyes on Andela, but acknowledgements. But one cool thing is that this is not just any day, but rather it's a freaking size poster of all the creatures on the island. Like, all of them. And that's why I love this book so much. Well, and now to the biggest review about this book. It's actually very well planned. It's beautifully illustrated with the most amazing pictures and art design of all the fauna that lives on the island. It'd be cool because technically, I mean, all the speculation of what would dinosaurs look like if they did survive the extinction event is really well planned out. I actually do love the story revolving around the Millennium Era Skull Island, and as technically life on this version of Skull Island is much more nightmarish and literally will give you nightmares for the rest of your life.